Albert Langlois, a three-time Stanley Cup winner with the Montreal Canadiens, passed away at the age of 85. Langlois played 4 seasons with the Canadiens from 1957 to 1961, winning the Stanley Cup with the team in 58, 59, and 60. The defenseman also played 3 seasons with the New York Rangers, 2 with the Detroit Red Wings, and 1 with the Boston Bruins, appearing in 497 NHL games. Alan Minter was a British professional boxer who competed from 1972 to 1981. He held the undisputed middleweight title in 1980, having previously held the British middleweight title from 1975 to 1976, and the European middleweight title twice between 1977 and 1979. Bill Autry was a former center for the Chicago Bears. He played for them in 1953. He passed away at the age of 87. Mr. Autry played for the Bears and George Halas, but the Army came calling and drafted him the following year. That ended his NFL career. Bob Atkins was a former defensive back for the St. Louis Cardinals and the Houston Oilers. He passed away at the age of 74. The Cardinals selected Atkins in the second round of the 1968 draft out of Grambling. He played 2 years for the Cardinals before they traded him to the Houston Oilers. Atkins then played 7 years for the Oilers. He had 19 career interceptions. Bob Nevin was a former NHL right winger. He played for the Toronto Maple Leafs, where he won 2 Stanley Cups. He also went to the New York Rangers in a trade where he played for 7 years. He also made the rounds with the Minnesota North Stars and the Los Angeles Kings. Mr. Nevin was 82. David Smokey Gaines was a former ABA player with the Kentucky Colonels. He also played with the Harlem Globetrotters. Initially, he was a 6th round pick of the Detroit Pistons, but he opted to attend a tryout for the Globetrotters. Derland Moore was a defensive tackle who spent 13 seasons with the New Orleans Saints. He passed away at the age of 68. He ended his career after a 1-year stint with the New York Jets in 1986. He had an excellent career in New Orleans, and the Saints chose him as one of the 50 best players in franchise history. Don Barnett, a former basketball great at the University of Miami, passed away at the age of 86. Mr. Barnett, after college, went on to enlist in the Navy, where he made the All-Navy basketball team. From there, he played for 4 years, earning worldwide notoriety as the dribbling wizard, playing for the then-famous Harlem Globetrotters. Don Mullins passed away at the age of 81. Mr. Mullins was a defensive back in the NFL for the Chicago Bears. He played for the Bears in 1961 and 1962. Dwight Anderson was a former point guard in the NBA. He played with the Denver Nuggets. He played in college for the University of Kentucky and USC. He was drafted into the NBA in the second round of the 1982 draft by the Washington Bullets. He passed away at the age of 59. Fred Rosenfeld passed away at the age of 86. He was the co-founder of the New Orleans Jazz. New Orleans became the 18th member of the NBA as a 9-man group headed by Mr. Rosenfeld. They paid $6.15 million for the expansion franchise. On May 3, 1974, Rosenfeld and the Jazz acquired Pete Maravich by trade from Atlanta, becoming the first player in franchise history. Gail Sayers, the Chicago Bears Hall of Fame running back, passed away at the age of 77. Sayers was nicknamed the Kansas Comet. He made his mark as one of the NFL's best all-purpose running backs in NFL history. His family said he was diagnosed with dementia several years back. Sayers was a blur to NFL defenses, avoiding would-be tacklers or zooming by them like few running backs or kick returners before or since. He was selected by Chicago with the 4th pick overall in the 1965 NFL Draft. His career 5.0 yards per carry rushing average was surpassed only by 4 true running backs ever: Jamal Charles, Jim Brown, Mercury Morris, and Marion Motley. He was elected to the NFL Hall of Fame at the young age of only 34. Gene Budig was the last American League president in Major League Baseball. He served in that position from 1994 to 1999, after which he became an owner in minor league baseball. Greg Brown was a defensive end of the Philadelphia Eagles and the Atlanta Falcons. He passed away at the age of 63. He's the 6th all-time sack leader for the Philadelphia Eagles. He played for the Eagles from 1981 to 1986 and for the Atlanta Falcons from 1987 to 1988. Jack Stanton was a halfback for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1961, but his legacy is coaching for over 40 years at the collegiate and the NFL levels. He was the defensive back coach for the Raiders in the NFL, and he also was the defensive back coach for the Atlanta Falcons. He passed away at the age of 82. Jay Johnstone played in Major League Baseball for nearly 20 years. He played for the California Angels, the Chicago White Sox, the Oakland A's, the Philadelphia Phillies, the New York Yankees, the San Diego Padres, the Los Angeles Dodgers in 2 stints, and also the Chicago Cubs. He is also a 2-time World Series champion in 1978 and 1981. He also is known as one of baseball's biggest pranksters. Mr. Johnstone passed away from COVID-19 at the age of 74. J.B. Brown came out of Kentucky Wesleyan University, where his nickname was Captain Crunch. He signed with the Harlem Globetrotters and played with them from 1988 to 1995. J.B. Brown was 54 years of age when he passed away. Joe Larinitis, better known by his ring name Road Warrior Animal, or simply Animal, was an American professional wrestler. He headlined multiple pay-per-view events for the WWF and the WCW, competing for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Animal was inducted, along with the Hawk and their manager, into the WWE Hall of Fame. He passed away at the age of 60. Joe Rutlich passed away at the age of 82. He was an NBA center and power forward who played with the Philadelphia Warriors. He was proud to have taken part in one of the NBA's most iconic moments, assisting Wilt Chamberlain with his 99th and 100th points in a record-setting game for the Warriors on March 2nd, 1962 against the New York. Larry Wilson was an NFL safety who played for the St. Louis Cardinals. He passed away at the age of 82. Wilson was drafted in the 7th round in 1960 and was considered, according to the Cardinals, to be the best defensive player to ever play for that team. His number 8 is retired and he was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1978. To show how tough he was, he actually played in an NFL game with 2 broken hands and subsequently made an interception in that game. Leo Sugar was a former defensive end in the NFL. He passed away at the age of 91. He played for the Chicago Cardinals for 7 years, and he also played for the Philadelphia Eagles and the Detroit Lions, both for a 1-year period. Lou Brock was a Hall of Fame outfielder who played 19 seasons in Major League Baseball. He played for both the Chicago Cubs and for most of his career, the St. Louis Cardinals. At the time of his retirement, Mr. Brock was the all-time base stealer in Major League Baseball history. Mike Tillemann was a former defensive lineman who played in the NFL. He passed away at the age of 76. Tillemann played 4 seasons for the New Orleans Saints from 1967 through 1970. He played 11 seasons in the NFL overall, including 1 with Minnesota, 2 with the Houston Oilers, and 4 with the Atlanta Falcons. Paul Pettit was a pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates in the National League from 1951 and 1953. He was the first $100,000 bonus baby in baseball. He passed away at the age of 88. Pauline Pinky Pirate played in the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League. She was a shortstop and third baseman. She was a native of Chicago and played for the Kenosha Comets from 1943 to 1945 and for the South Bend Blue Sox from 1945 to 1948. Dave Zeller was a basketball player for the University of Miami, where he played 3 years. He graduated as the highest scoring guard in Miami's history. He later was signed to an NBA contract by the Cincinnati Royals with Oscar Robertson and Wayne Embry in 1961. Rich Buzzin was a former tackle in the NFL. He passed away at the age of 74. He was drafted by the New York Giants, where he played tackle from 1968 to 1970. He later went on to play for the Los Angeles Rams in 1971 and the Chicago Bears in 1972. Robert Wilson is a former wide receiver who played in the NFL. He passed away at the age of 46. Mr. Wilson played 5 seasons in the NFL with the Seattle Seahawks and the New Orleans Saints. Mr. Wilson was inducted into the Florida A&M Sports Hall of Fame in 2016. Tom Jernstad was an American basketball administrator working for the NCAA from 1972 to 2010. He is credited with guiding the NCAA Men's Division I Basketball Championship to what it is today. He is also enshrined in both the Collegiate Basketball Hall of Fame and the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. Mr. Jernstad passed away at the age of 75. Tom Seaver was a Hall of Fame baseball pitcher who formerly played for the New York Mets, the Cincinnati Reds, the Chicago White Sox, and the Boston Red Sox. Mr. Seaver won 3 Cy Youngs during his career and also won his 300th game with the Chicago White Sox. Mr. Seaver passed away at the age of 75. Preston Powell was a running back in the NFL for the Cleveland Browns. He was drafted in 1961. Jim Brown once stated, "Of all the players who came here to take my spot. He was the one I was afraid of. Over the years, Powell was coached by Eddie Robinson at Grambling, Paul Brown, Tom Landry, and George Halas. Knee injuries cut short his NFL career.